This is Anime Review, and here is your legendary list. Coming in at the number 10 spot, is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Life in the bustling city of Rio is never dull, especially for Belcronel, a naive young man who dreams of becoming the greatest adventurer in the land. One day, he meets Hestia, a lowly goddess who takes him under her wing and helps him on his quest. Together, they venture into the heart of the city's monster-filled catacombs, known only as the dungeon. These cavernous depths are filled with danger at every turn, and a mysterious power moves in the shadows. Even on the surface, survival is a hard-earned privilege. In this world, gods and humans live and work together, but they often struggle to get along. Bel's optimism and determination are put to the test as he faces numerous challenges and makes lasting friendships along the way. As he delves deeper into the dungeon, Bel must confront the horrors that lurk within and overcome his own limitations. The perils he encounters are countless, and the risk of death is always present. But he remains resolute, driven by his desire to become the greatest adventurer of all time. Number 9 on the list is The Rising of the Shield Hero. The four cardinal heroes are a group of ordinary men from modern-day Japan who are summoned to the kingdom of Melromark to save it from the devastating waves of catastrophe that have plagued the land for centuries. Each hero is given a unique weapon: a sword, spear, bow, or shield to use in their quest to defeat the waves. Naofumi Iwatani, an otaku, is chosen to wield the shield and becomes known as the Shield Hero. Despite his best efforts, Naofumi is looked down upon and ridiculed by his fellow heroes and the people of Melromark due to his perceived weakness and lack of charisma. Determined to prove himself, Naofumi sets out to train with the only person willing to work with him, Multi. But his trust is betrayed when Multi falsely accuses him of taking advantage of her, and Naofumi becomes the target of discrimination and hatred from the people of Melromark. With a heavy heart, Naofumi embarks on a journey to strengthen himself and rebuild his reputation. As he travels alone, the difficulties of the road become too much to bear, and Naofumi makes the decision to purchase a demi-human slave named Draftalia to join him on his journey. Together, they work to protect the kingdom of Melromark and its people from the looming threat of the waves. Despite overwhelming odds and the constant discrimination they face, Naofumi and Draftalia stand united in their mission to save the kingdom and bring an end to the cycle of disaster. Coming in at number 8 we have Demon Lord Retry. Akira Uno is a humble, hardworking adult who has spent the last 15 years managing the popular MMORPG Infinity game. As the day of the server shutdown approaches, Uno feels a sense of accomplishment and closure, knowing that he has given everything he could to the game that he loved. But as the clock strikes midnight, and the servers are set to shut down for the final time, Uno experiences a strange and unsettling sensation. Suddenly, he finds himself transported into the body of middle-aged Takuto Kunai, the Demon Lord of Infinity Game, a character he created within the game world. As he tries to wrap his head around this bizarre development, Uno witnesses a demon named Griel chase Sing after a young girl named Aku. Without hesitation, Uno dispatches the creature, but is left with more questions than answers. And how is it even possible for him to be here at all? Determined to get to the bottom of this mystery, Uno sets out on a journey with Aku as his guide. Along the way, they encounter all manner of strange and dangerous creatures, each one more fearsome than the last. Coming in at 7 on the list is Arifureta. 17-year-old Hajime Nagumo is just an ordinary otaku, until one day he and his classmates are summoned to a fantasy world and tasked with saving mankind. While his classmates are given impressive abilities that are useful in combat, Hajime is disappointed to find that his transmutation skill is weak and not very effective in battle. Despite this, he remains determined to find a way to return home. During an expedition in the Great Orcus Labyrinth, disaster strikes when one of his classmates betrays him, and he falls to the bottom of an abyss. Miraculously, Hajime survives the fall, but he is faced with numerous dangers and challenges as he tries to make his way out of the labyrinth. As he struggles to survive, Hajime meets an imprisoned vampire named Yui, who is also seeking to escape the labyrinth. Together, they set out on a journey to find a way back home, accompanied by a few other allies they meet along the way. As they travel, Hajime and his companions must fight off fierce monsters and overcome numerous obstacles as they strive to become the strongest in the world. Despite the many challenges they face, Hajime remains determined to return home and reunite with his loved ones. Coming in on the 6th spot is Grandblue Fantasy S2. The Grand Cypher and its crew, on the run from the Erst Empire, are offered a chance to negotiate a ceasefire. They meet at the neutral territory of Albion Citadel, where they are hosted by Vera Lilly, the current Lord Commander of Albion, and a friend of Catalina, allies from their time at officer training together. Imperial General Furious grants the Skyfarers a pardon, but the tension between the two sides remains. To celebrate the crew's arrival, Vera hosts a gala. However, tensions continue to run high as Furious and the Earth's delegation stay at Albion, even after the negotiations are over. While attending the gala, the crew learns of the existence of a primal beast on the island. They are further shocked to receive a letter from Catalina announcing her resignation. As Gran goes to find Catalina, Eugen and Rackham decide to investigate the Imperial presence on the island, suspecting a hidden motive behind their continued presence. And at number 5 we have Cheat Magician. Taichi Nishimura and Rin Azuma, two regular high school students, are walking to school one morning when they are suddenly enveloped in a glowing light and transported to a fantasy world full of magical creatures. As they try to navigate this new world, they are confronted by a beast, but are saved by a group of adventurers. The adventurers tell them that it is dangerous to be unarmed and inexperienced in this world, where monster attacks have been on the rise. They recommend that Taichi and Rin go to the guild, where they can determine their magical aptitude and become registered adventurers. When they take the aptitude test, they are surprised to discover that they have extraordinary powers that far surpass those of a typical mage. This transforms them from ordinary high schoolers into powerful cheat magicians. As they learn to control their powers and get accustomed to their new world, they also try to figure out how they were transported there, and if there is a way to return to their original world. However, they soon find themselves facing unexpected challenges. Coming in at number 4, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Satoru Mikami, a 37-year-old corporate worker in Tokyo, is unhappy with his single status, but content with his mundane life. During a casual encounter with a colleague, he is attacked and stabbed on the street. As he is dying, he hears a mysterious voice in his mind speaking commands he doesn't understand. When Satoru wakes up, he finds that he has been reincarnated as a slime in an unfamiliar world. He gains the ability to consume and mimic anything he eats, and meets the sealed dragon, Valdora, who has been imprisoned for 300 years for destroying a town. Satoru befriends Valdora and agrees to help him break the seal. In return, Valdora gives Satoru the name Rimuru Tempest and Divine Protection. With his new identity, Rimuru begins a new journey with the goal of using his abilities to make a name for himself in this new world. As he adapts to his new body, his actions and adventures draw attention and shape his destiny. On the number 3 spot is Conception. On the day of his high school graduation, Itsuki is surprised when his cousin Mihiru tells him that she is pregnant. Just as he is trying to process this news, a gate of light appears and transports the two of them to the world of Granvania. In this new world, there are beings called impurities that are causing chaos and disorder by disturbing the stars. Itsuki is revealed to be someone who is destined to meet the Star Maidens, and is seen as the only hope for Granvania. He is given the task of producing star children to fight against the impurities. If Itsuki does not complete this task, he may never be able to return home. Coming in at number 2 is Death March to a Parallel World. The main character is Ichiro Suzuki, working as a programmer in his late 20s. Exhausted from overworking, he falls asleep and wakes up in a fantasy RPG world, made up of elements from the video games that he was debugging in the real world. In this new fantasy world, he finds that not only has his appearance changed to a younger version of himself from when he was 15, but his name has also been changed to Sato, a nickname he always used while testing video games. Before Sato can fully understand what has happened, he is attacked by a large army of lizardmen. In self-defense, he casts a powerful spell from a scroll that accidentally summons a meteor shower that ends up killing them all in one foul swoop. To his surprise, this boosts his level all the way up to 310, maxing out his stats. With no way to return to reality, and armed with an array of skills, Sato sets out on a journey to explore this magical world as a high-level adventurer. And finally, on the top spot, ranked number 1 on the list, we have Goblin Slayer. In this anime, goblins are feared for their strength and ability to reproduce quickly, but they are often overlooked as a threat due to their low status as monsters. They frequently attack small villages and kidnap human females and other species to breed with. These attacks go largely unchecked as adventurers prioritize assignments with higher bounties over stopping the goblins. To celebrate her first day as a porcelain-ranked adventurer, a 15-year-old priestess joins a group of inexperienced rookies to investigate a goblin tribe that has been kidnapping women from a nearby village. However, the group is ambushed and killed while exploring a cave. The priestess, believing she is about to meet her end, is rescued by the Goblin Slayer, a silver-ranked adventurer known for his expertise in defeating goblins. He easily destroys the entire goblin nest in the cave, and later allows the priestess to join him as he works with the Adventurers Guild to eliminate all goblins in the area. Along with the priestess, a high elf, a dwarf and a lizard man joins the party. Together with the Goblin Slayer, they set out on a mission to eradicate the goblins once and for all.